I guess you should have a YouTube channel as well, Jeff.
Mm, uh,
Y- yes, back to all-time highs, baby. We
yeah,
needed that pullback. That was right where I had my zone too. Oh
yeah.
dang.
So we charted in the morning. You had
What was
that
your
one.
zone? Wait, go back. Can you go back to your 4-hour chart?
Yeah, it's the same one.
Okay. I just want to see
Yes,
what I
it's
have. I'm pretty sure I like the
no.
same thing.
Yeah, you have the same
Yep,
thing
yep,
because like
exactly.
yeah, we had this charted early in the morning.
Yeah, that little
Posted it.
consolidation. Perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Posted last night. I know Bueller caught that too. I saw his chart on his analysis.
Did you see the charts I posted in Bueller's chat?
Oh yeah, I just went through 'em. There's tons, dude. I looked at it. I was like, man, there's all kinds of setups here, like kinds of gold in there, man.
Some of them were a lot better than others. Some of them gonna take some time yet, but
No, I agree.
I went through my whole watch list. I made that cheap tickers watch list.
Hmm.
I cleared all my charts on all those, and I went over all of them. And I set
Yeah,
my alerts, just like you said.
and honestly, man, like that's all you need because if you see a chart that has a nice setup but hasn't really like done anything, hasn't moved, it may not be that day, but later when you get the alert, at least you're gonna know that even if it wasn't on your watch list, that you know that something is going on with that ticker.
Yeah, I need to pay more attention to my alerts, to be honest, because I set so many alerts sometimes that I'm like, oh, I got an alert, but I'm in something else, and it's like I should have been paying attention to that one.
Right? But but at the same time though, like if you have your watch list, you know it takes a lot of discipline to legitimately just stay with that specific watch list, even though you see like all these call outs and you see a lot of tickers run without you. That's when all the FOMO starts should start kicking in, and then you look at your position that you're in,
Yeah,
and then what happens is like, well, shoot, I'm at a loss, and these guys are at a winning trade, and that's running, and what you end up doing is you end up cutting your loss
and then it goes
because
and runs.
exactly, and then it goes the opposite way because what happened is your emotional psychological level started to kick in because these other ones are going, and you're just like, well, shoot, let me get into that one then.
That happened to me yesterday when I was paper when I
Yeah,
was
it
paper
happened to
trading.
me today as well with
I was
AMD.
I was paper
Yeah,
yeah I was paper trading AAL shorts yesterday, and I saw it just kept making lower highs, and I was on the 5 minute. You're gonna be mad, but I saw it kept making lower highs, so I entered in at on one of the rallies with my stop right above that previous high,
yeah.
and I had my stop loss, and I was like, man, this thing's just kind of pushing around. And I went and looked at it later in the day, and I was like, dang, I was like, it ran like another good ways down.
Yeah, that was yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, man. Like making sure that you have those alerts set is like key even in this part of trading that we do because again, like you don't know if Disney's gonna run tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though it was on the watch list a couple days ago, or SPCE, I never got my alert for it because it never hit my alert, so I didn't care for it. I didn't even bother to go look at it until the end of the day. Even though the setup was there, I didn't have to look at it. Right? So here, look,
Did you trade
SPCE,
it?
you see? No, I didn't trade it
Oh, yeah.
because it never hit my alert.
Yep.
So even though I had this, like it already had it gapped up, so technically I never got my alert right here. Yeah, so whatever happened to this ticker, I really don't care. Uh, if I would have gotten my alert, I would have looked at it and I would have saw this
You just
and I
seen it
would have been
selling
ready
off.
already.
You just seen it selling off, and you probably could have grabbed it short, but
Yeah, but I wanted the breakout to the
yeah,
top side.
yeah, that would have been
That's
the better play.
yeah, that's what I wanted to play.
Yeah.
And then same thing for IWM, right? Same thing. I wanted this breakout.
Happened pre-market and rejected. Yep.
You see right here, I reset my alert right here. I reset my alert because it popped off right at open. in this area, and it did nothing. So my next alert was up here. See, so all my alerts
So-
were reset the minute that I saw this just drop, and I didn't care. I
Why
didn't
didn't-
plan for the downside or anything.
Why didn't you get in at open? It looks like it did pump a little bit.
It did, but it wasn't. It wasn't matching with my criteria, and part of it was because of ES. Right, so even ES, I saw this right here coming down.
Yep.
And this is something that I talked about in the last video, right? So the last one that I did, I basically said, while everybody's being short, I'm buying the dips and I'm grabbing my calls,
Yeah.
right? And this is where I took profit on my SPY call today. I sold it. I didn't realize we were gonna come down way down here, right? So as soon as we broke this little blue zone, I was already watching a lot of the tickers and watching like the sentiment of everything that was going on. And the one thing that caught my attention was Microsoft, right? So we talked about Microsoft the previous day as well, right? All this little area was getting bought up.
Opened right at support. like you
Open right
said.
at support. Exactly. And the awesome thing about this was that this did not sell off like ES did.
Yeah.
And that's why, let me do this for you. Do this.
See, I'm excited. I deposited a little bit more, so I'm gonna be able to hopefully take some of those plays that you're taking now.
Dude, like,
I still want to trade my small takers, but if I see a nice setup on some of the plays you're posting, I might have to hop in. I might
by
have
all
to
means,
size up
man,
a
go
little.
for it, dude.
You can add even Microsoft, Nick. It's also, even though it is $200 stock, the contracts are a little bit somewhat affordable compared to the AMD
Yeah.
because
Yeah. And that's why I like these two tickers. They're
yeah,
I
pretty
kinda-
great when
I kind of wanted to, especially since I'm trying to trade more like Chef, be able to get some more time on my contracts though. So I want to be able to at least get like a week out. And I mean, on like AMD and Microsoft, those are like $200 contracts at the money. And for my account size, I'd have to get a couple strikes out with the money to get some time on it, and that's
Yeah.
not something I want to do.
Yeah, and honestly, man, like if you trade this way that I'm doing it, and you're seeing these videos, right? So I'm posting everything in these videos, I'm posting these call outs, and again, what is the one thing that I'm only using? It's zones.
Yeah.
This is all I'm doing, and you guys are watching Microsoft right now, still pump up. Like,
yes,
That's
CRM.
pretty nuts.
I think it's because of CRM.
I remember someone I think saying yesterday, Microsoft's at 212 again. I was like, dang. I was like, that's right at support.
yeah, so again, all right, let me just explain this real quick, right? So ES was selling off. The whole market basically just kind of started off red, okay? And the biggest thing that I saw in Microsoft was the support.
Yeah, and that it was
So,
holding up to it. It wasn't
this right
breaking
here-
down, and it wasn't selling off with the market.
It was not selling off, man, and this is what I said in the chat, that it is showing strength.
Yeah.
So this 115-minute candle right here, let me just release that. I'll take this little trend line off.
Was your entry off that trend line?
Right
Did
here.
you enter
This
right
is
at
my entry
open?
right here. This
Okay.
pre-market area. And the reason I did not take it at open was because of ES.
Yeah.
That's why. I took it the minute that we pumped up right here. Is when I called it. I said, I'm looking at Microsoft. I entered Microsoft right here on this 15-minute candle.
So how would you have adjusted your risk for that? Would you have just gotten a lower delta contract because your stop would have had to have been bigger? Because your
No,
stop
I-
loss would have been
so
below
I-
that zone, right?
I use it as a day trade, right? So here, let me just go back to my stuff real quick.
Right? Your stop loss would be below that like 213 zone.
Yeah, that was my stop. That was technically my spot. Hold on, let me see. Okay, so I grabbed the 215 this week contract. Was at $2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got filled at 207. So I took it here, and just remember that I already had some profits from JPM, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so JPM I got in for 177 yesterday, and I sold it today for 308. That's an extra $100 that I just made, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so knowing that I had that extra $100, I went with the Microsoft, the this week, the 207, right? So I basically risked $100 out of my main account.
Okay.
You see, does that make sense?
Yeah. So you
Right?
were more
Because
okay with taking a riskier play because you made profits.
exactly. So because I did that, I was able to have that $100 leeway, right? Because I had that profit from JPM.
Yeah.
So now basically what I did with my 1K account is I'm up $100 and I'm risking $100 into this trade. So from right here, my entry being here at this 214, I was already down. I believe it was like $50 that I was down. Again, this is just one contract. So I could have been down about 80 had it gone all the way down to 213.
Yeah.
Now see the thing about understanding this play was the fact that it is at support, and even though ES was selling off, this did not sell off.
Yeah. You had that pump in the morning.
Exactly. So the setup right here was perfect, right? So my risk was the 213, right? Now, if ES would have kept flushing all the way down into this 34 area, this 3410 area right here into this zone, I would have known to cut my loss on Microsoft right here, and I would have entered a put right away because this would have been a break of support.
Yeah.
And it would have followed the market all the way down. So when ES would have hit my target down at the bottom, then I would have took profit on Microsoft down here at like 211.50 area.
So if you wouldn't have had that $100 gain though this morning, would you have probably been more inclined to get it right at open and have that tighter stop loss?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So again, that's why I gave the safer entry for everybody here. This is when I call this one out. Right here above 214.50, basically safer entry for everybody to get in. I got in right when it popped up on the first candle, and I was still in it. And it didn't matter because I understood the risk for this specific play. And that, look, that thing is just going, dude. I should have kept that swing play.
Dude, the market's just going. Look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, I'm not trying to swing for the fences. You know, I'm not trying to YOLO a whole, swing play. What I'm basically trying to do is teach and explain why I'm taking these plays and understanding that these plays are making sense from zone to zone.
Yep. And grow that account.
And just grow the account.
So where'd you end up taking profits?
On Microsoft?
Yeah.
Right here in the middle right here.
So why'd you take it there instead of letting it run a bit more? Because that wasn't at resistance or anything, was it? Nothing
about it was at resistance. This right here, once I knew that it was breaking, right, the ATR of Microsoft, right, 213 to about 215.85. That's basically the ATR of Microsoft.
Okay, so you went off the ATR.
I went off the ATR today. So again, I'm playing that safe account. I'm playing it conservative. I'm understanding the strategy in itself.
Yep.
Even though I knew that the minute we broke out of this little zone right here, it'd go into this one right here, right? So this whole thing, if you guys don't understand what my chart is, this is a zone.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing is a zone. And when you have these bigger zones, you can play in that zone from this little range to here. So anybody who wants to scalp can do that. When they're on the 5-minute time frame, here you go, enter here, get out right there.
Yeah.
That's literally your first few candles. And it gave you an awesome entry. Look at this. but then you would have got stopped out right here on a 5-minute time frame. Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, you could have held here, strong hands, pull back, and then boom, just push through right here. Closed above, bearish candle, came down. But again, something about this ticker that a lot of people fail to realize, that even though it hit this resistance, the selling pressure was not there. Right? So because it wasn't there.
What do you mean it
what it
wasn't? It sold off pretty hard.
That's not hard compared to what the market was doing.
Yeah.
You see right here?
Okay.
And if it failed here, and then it dropped here. So basically it went into the zone, right? And it's still, Microsoft was still in its ATR range. So nothing about it was bearish. So looking at this is when I did the other call out, when I saw this right here.
Yeah.
I said go for swings.
Yep.
Because I saw this right here. And another thing that I explained in the other video, I said when you're in a stock and you're looking for a swing, you're looking for a trend change, you want to look for a pattern to break out, to form, to break out, and to continue.
Yeah. And especially I like those, like for swing plays, when you have like a strong push up like that in the morning, and then it kind of consolidates, like it pulls back a little bit and consolidates for like the rest of the day. Even if that would have closed like during that consolidation, I still would have considered that to be a good swing, just because it made that big move and it held it.
Exactly. And this is why right here would have been your entry.
Yeah.
And then your stop loss. Right here.
Yep.
Literally, it's not far off. But your reward, if you enter here for the swing play, look at this already. It's already just going up.
Yeah.
And what did I say my target was? Look at this. Right? And again, I took my little small position, for a profit. Again, not because I'm scared, not because I didn't trust my TA. I did it because I'm being conservative. I did it with taking smaller positions and growing this 1K account.
Yep.
Right. If it would have been my main account, I totally would have been in the 215 calls. I would have been in like 4 or 5 deep, scaled out over here on the top, and then let the other one just go.
Would you have gotten time on that then, or would you still have probably played this week?
Yeah, I would have gotten time. So for the Microsoft, I would have got the September 4th.
Yeah.
And just the AMD September 4th.
Yep.
But this one I called out for a day trade. And then again, when later on in the day happened, I called that for a swing. I'm not sure if anybody took it. I hope somebody did. I hope people are in this play.
Yeah.
I hope we wake up like super green and these guys, make good money. But this target right here, to 1987.
Is that just
2074.
Is that just based off that kind of whole number mentality where it's 220?
Yeah, and so the way that Microsoft moves too, for some weird reason, it always has like that 0.80, the 0.75 marks. If somebody knows Microsoft and they understand the characteristics of it, then they'll know exactly when I mentioned that. And again, yes, it's a whole number thing. It's 220, but I'm giving it a little room just to see what it does and to see if that zone really plays out, because I'm really just looking for 220. Okay, so that was Microsoft, and then same thing for AMD, right? So from Bueller's chat, Big O, shout out to him, man. He posted this AMD chart, man, and I was getting ready to post mine, and he had the same freaking zones as I did. He literally he tagged me in it, and I was already gonna post, and
I'm pretty sure James took it too.
Yeah. Yeah, and Big O asked me, he goes, how would you play it? So, well, it's simple. It's literally break above or break below.
Yep.
That was our conversation, and I'm 100% sure he took that play. I think he said he sold at 86 for a profit, so he probably entered here. But but again, I didn't call this out right at open. So same setup as Microsoft, right? So I watched this thing come down here, and I did not call it. I did not call by the dip, simply because I saw ES coming down. So I was being conservative with this play. Same thing. We're playing a 1K account again, just a reminder. And I waited basically for the break right here, this 84, right? So the first thing that I started to see.
Yep, I think I remember him saying that too. The break of 84.
Yeah, exactly. The break of 84. And the thing was about it, like this thing was like a little confused right here in the beginning. So it came down, dropped, it pushed up, but it was confused right here. And as soon as I saw this candle just started shooting. I was literally about to walk away from my computer. I saw that candle, and I told everybody, I was like, let's just get an AMD. I called it. I was like, take this call. For this one, it was September 4th. I think it was like 85 call, but I grabbed the weekly, again, because it was cheaper for me. It was less risk for me, and I played it. And again, I think some people took profits right here, but again, I did not. I was still in it. This thing was trending. Microsoft was trending. You know, the market started to reverse a bit right here. So again, the sell-off on this was not a sell-off. This was just clearly a pullback.
Yep, and it came back and tested.
Right there, perfect.
Tested 84, dojied out on the 15-minute, signaling it was going to pull back or reverse back up.
And this is exactly what Bueller teaches.
Yep.
That's that pullback. Grab that 80% play right there. Right there. Just because you missed the first pump doesn't mean you missed the second one. Right? Even if you get in the first one, scale out. Scale out when it hits profit. It almost hit 85. We're already in the money. And I think a lot of people either, you know, stopped out right here or just didn't trust the fact that AMD was going to keep running. But again, you failed to realize that this was just a pullback and there was no selling pressure whatsoever.
So I guess,
and again,
my question is with the small account, if you're playing that 40% entry, are you just gonna take profits on that first push up, or are you gonna hold through? Like, say if you're playing with a single contract, are you just gonna take profits right there at that 85 mark, or are you gonna hold through that pullback, see it test, and be like, okay, I know this is a good play, and then ride it out?
Well, I held through all the whole way.
Okay.
Yeah, so I played this understanding what it was doing.
Yeah.
This is why I called it. I never told anybody to take profits.
Yeah.
And again, even if it's a small contract, right, just one contract, my stop loss is still there. I was still in the green when I got in. So nothing about my trade changed, right? So even with my stop loss being down here at 83.50, none of it ever hit. Look at my alert. 83.85, I set my alert for a stop loss. It never hit. So I entered at 84, right when it started breaking this candle, and I reset my alert right here.
Yep.
I kept it that simple. Kept a tight stop, let it go. Still did not touch my alert, so I stayed in the trade. And that's the 15-minute chart. And again, if you're ever in this, you can switch to the 30-minute, and it's still the same thing. Look.
Yep, and there's low seller volume on that sell-off.
Yeah.
And then you have that rising volume on the push-up.
Exactly.
Lower seller volume when it flagged out there too.
Yeah.
And then continued up. You could have held through that whole thing.
Yeah. And no problem whatsoever. And this is what I'm talking about, right? Look. You want to watch for these patterns when they start to have a trend change.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so let's look at AMD bigger picture. Maybe this will help.
Yeah, I know we pulled back and we were holding some resistance or some support for a while. Or yeah,
Yeah.
that break, we tested that level, pulled back,
Yeah.
tested it as support, and today we pushed up.
Yeah, right here. This was awesome. And you said it right there, right? So look, come up in here, break up still, come down, retest, right? Gap up, retest again. It got bought up right there. So this basically confirmed the fact that it's a support. So understanding that this is support, why not hold this play? So bigger picture, you got to look at the bigger picture whenever you're in one of these trades. And same thing right here. Look, it hit zone.
I mean,
perfectly.
you could have done the same thing you could have done on Microsoft and bought the dip right in that zone.
Yeah, you could have. I think some of the guys got in right here too. When I was messaging them, some of them they're like, "Oh, I'm already in." The other guy was like, "Oh, I've been in." I was like, "Well, cool. At least you got a good entry. Like you're solid, bro. Like don't even worry."
Yeah, for real.
And then one of the guys, he's like, what did he say? He goes, when Chef called it out, he goes, that's confirmation for me to hold. I was like, okay, well, that's cool, like understand the bigger picture. And now we're up here, right? So
yeah.
So how I'm going to play this tomorrow. Okay, same thing that I'm going to look for. I'm going to look for the continuation play, the pop. Okay, we're either going to pop to the top and continue like crazy because this is AMD.
Yeah.
And we all know that when AMD keeps going and it catches some type of momentum, this happens.
Yeah.
Right here. This happens, right? And again, if we break out, let me just erase this right here. I'll take this off. Okay, I'll take that off. I still have my trend lines, right? I want you to understand that this whole area right here, okay, this whole area is what we want to get above. Right here.
Yeah.
I want to get above all this price action because right here, this whole area was like a new area where bulls and bears were deciding where the stock was going to go and if it was a good deal or not. Mm-hmm. Okay, so anybody who was in AMD already was like super green from right here. So any investor, like I always tell you, 0.1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we're in all these points right here where we had a staircase pattern and then we found
some resistance, some sellers. Yep.
This is a ceiling. It's simple. This is your flat area when you go up the stairs and it's flat and then you can walk on it. That's that right there.
Yep. And now we're testing that again.
And now we're testing, but yeah, we're closing with bullish candles right here.
Yeah.
Bullish candles, bullish momentum, understanding that this area is support.
See, that was kind of my thought process on BAC this morning. I know you showed the trend change on how it was in that downward channel, and we broke out of that to the upside. And we had a good green day yesterday, and I was kind of looking for that same kind of move, the continuation move upward. But I mean, it already gapped up 1% from yesterday. And like you were saying too, you have to consider what it was doing coming into that zone. So it already had that strong bullish move up, and BAC doesn't move all that much. And I think that's where my mistake was, is that I thought we were gonna have another 1% up or whatever.
Yeah. So here you go.
And I mean, I was right. We're pushing up still, but I was just really on that move.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing about these plays right here when they gap up and go, and then they have the snapbacks, right? So this is something that one of the guys always talks about when I watch his YouTubes, right? He talks about a snapback. So the snapback is this right here. This is where people start taking profits, where people get in, where things like that happen, right? So when it's a gap and go, this thing it's gonna push here, right? So if you're in it, your trail stop is literally right here already, right? And it's just going. So technically, this play was already at open, take it and trail.
Yeah,
Be
that's where I should have
fast.
stopped out, is when we started getting that rejection.
Yeah, this is one of those fast plays that you got to get into, and a lot of people like those momentums because they go in heavy right at open,
Yeah,
and then they just trail it, so they're gonna stay in the green regardless.
yeah.
But there was more sellers on this one because they were taking profit from this nice run.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we came down, so this could have been your little base, like this little
Yeah,
gap
and
area.
it filled that gap just about, and I did buy time on it, so I was considering just holding it because I knew we'd recover, but I didn't want to get stuck in it and have it pull back, and if we were gonna go back down and test the breakout from yesterday or something like that, I didn't want to get stuck in it and have or a good portion of my buying power stuck up in that play.
Yeah, and that's understandable,
Yeah.
but also be ready to trail that. Like you literally just have to trail that, man. And honestly, having time on this play would have made more sense.
Yep.
Especially if you have a bigger account. If you had a bigger account, I would have told you to hold.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have said hold because honestly, look at this move from 26 to 25.70, right? That's only like a 30-cent move.
Yeah. But
And that's a normal move for BAC.
yeah, but if you look at like what we were up today, 31 cents is 1.2%.
Yeah.
So percentage wise, I would have been down 30% or something, but I mean I ended up cutting it, I think, at minus 20%. So
Yeah. And that's fine. At least, you entered with the right mindset,
Yeah.
and that's all that really matters, man, because it's not the fact that you made a mistake, it's the fact that you saw something happening and you did the best you could to execute, but then you stopped out. So there was nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
So there's you understood the play. Right?
Yeah.
But again, if you would have had time, if you would have had a bigger account, if you would have had like a light position, again, I would have probably told you, just hold on, give it another day, and then we're gonna add, tomorrow, and we're gonna just watch it, push up into this zone right here.
Yeah, I think it looks really good for tomorrow. It is just kind of between zones right now.
Yeah, it's just chilling right here.
Yep.
So it doesn't know where it's going because of this red candle right here. So it's confused basically. It's just
Yeah.
like it wants to pick a direction, but it has not. So tomorrow I'll be looking for financials to pump up.
Yep. Same with airlines. Airlines look pretty similar to financials.
Yeah. And then the same thing happened with JPM. Right, sure. So we were able to take the swing. So again, the pattern played out perfect. It hit the zone right here. Just like I said, 101.50. I really wanted to see this top over here at 102.50. So I have tons of alerts right here. But the minute I saw this again, I started to trail it. And we held right above. I trailed it and I did not let it go below this.
Yeah.
So this is where I got out. Right in this candle, pushed up and then came down, and I took profits.
Yeah.
So
And that
just
did worry
when
me a
you
little bit too.
say trailing, do you mean to use the trailing stop loss, or is it just the alerts that you're setting?
For me, I just watch it. I do manual. I don't do trailing stop loss on my accounts. No, I basically trade off my mobile. I have my phone open. I have Tastyworks open. I buy and sell, and I just literally play around with this computer.
Yeah, I mean, even I do only on the mobile. I don't like doing it on the desktop because I want to see the chart, how it's doing.
Yeah, that's all I do. So on my phone, I don't think I have a area where I can trail stop. And even if I did, I wouldn't even do it because I play zone to zone, and that's kind of all that matters to me, really.
Yeah.
So alerts. So I reset my alert. You see this right here? I reset it. This one popped off a couple times, so I got to reset this one. So every alert, we just got to reset. And they're all the same. Nothing's changed. And if somebody would have watched the video from last night, they could have got in right here, could have made some profit real quick, got back out, got back in, however the case may be. But so plan for tomorrow for AMD. It's literally above right here, 86.75. That's where I'm gonna take it long. I hope it doesn't gap up too much. But even then, I'm still gonna keep my alert there. The next alert will be at 87.30, and then 88. And definitely, I'll be looking for 90.
Yep.
That's what I'll be looking for. But again, everything's going to depend on market sentiment. It can literally just gap up like this and then sell off, come test, buy the dip, and then let's swing it into the next day like that. So lots of scenarios, but either way, you got to be ready for both plays. And I'll probably be buying the dip if we get one. If it gaps and goes, then I'm gonna go with the 2. But that's my plan for that. And then Microsoft, the plan for that one, again, same thing. I want to catch it here. This is where I want it, 217.20 to 217.80 is my little zone. So I want to catch it anywhere in here. Make sure it doesn't go below that. So basically, I want this to hold, this to hold, and then of course this bullish candle to hold. And I'm looking for 220. 18. So we're at 218, 1920. So that makes sense, right? The ATR.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense right there. That's that plan. But yeah, that's the explanation on those trades. Hey Nick, can you do another recording so we can actually make a watch list versus these explanations?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna resend the link right now, guys. Thank you very much. Hope you guys understood what the play was on AMD and Microsoft and exactly what I was looking for today. And we're just gonna do this again, and we're just gonna do a watch list real quick, right?
All right.